Family and friends, we are going up in the lighthouse. So,
Alrighty, everybody.
I want to go first.
You want to just line up with wall on your left. Good, everybody. Has everybody been in a lighthouse before, or is this y'all's first time?
First time.
First time, okay. Well, if you have any questions at the end or in the middle, just let me know. I'll be happy to answer them. The lighthouse is kind of the symbol of Biloxi. I probably missed it to y'all when you came in. But it was commissioned to be built in 1847 by Congress. They allocated only $12,000 at the time for it to be built and constructed. It wasn't actually built in the South, though. It was built in Baltimore, Maryland, and shipped down here. At the same time, they had a separate company build an innkeeper house. I actually have been trying to find out exactly where that was placed because unfortunately, it's no longer still here. It was destroyed in a storm. As far as I can tell, it's located a little bit north of the lighthouse on Highway 9, here back in the 1800s, of course. But to start off, the lighthouse being built in 1848, it was shipped down here and constructed. It was one of the first lighthouses in the southern hemisphere to be made of cast iron. Now, as you can see, it's strengthened with the inner liner brick that goes all the way up. So, starting off, it was fueled by kerosene oil, the lantern. The lantern's been dropped down from where it originally was, but it's still the same place. They're just lower down. Of the 6 people that took care of the lighthouse through its decades, 3 were women, and they had the majority of the time of looking after the lighthouse, spanning well over 6 decades, right about 70 years. And they would actually stay in the lighthouse during storms and everything. They had to carry kerosene or oil on their backs 3 times a day to the top, which was about 60 pounds to keep the lighthouse lit. And but during the storm, I was reading, for example, that they actually were in their innkeeper house with several feet of water during the storm, and the first person actually still come over to keep the lighthouse lit through that hurricane. It's been through over 20 hurricanes to this day, and as you can probably imagine, it's pretty scary to be in a lighthouse right this close to the water during the storm, because they had no clue that it was going to make it through, 20-something hurricanes. Shortly after it was built, they realized they built it much too close to the water. It was a matter of feet, probably about 10 feet to the south that the water came up. Perhaps even closer, but from the photo that's even they piled concrete and lumber to fight the erosion until they built the seawall. They didn't build the seawall until the 1920s, which, as you can see now, we have very long beaches, 26.1 miles to be exact, which we got the longest beaches in the world, man-made beaches, that is. The lighthouse was in the 20s electrified, but it wasn't automated, so they still had to have someone kind of rotate the assembly for ships to come in. By the 30s, however, it was automated, and a year later, in 1938-39, there was no longer a need for a keeper. In the late 50s, the Coast Guard decommissioned the lighthouse. It's still used to this day for private vessels. You can see some of the noteworthy hurricanes that have been listed through its time since the 1800s. Starting off, the second one in just above Bill's feet says in 1860. The reason I mentioned that one is because it did damage particularly to the lighthouse and left it tilted by about 2 feet. What they did was, that was in the 60s during the Civil War of the 1800s, the lighthouse wasn't really being used. So they waited 7 years later in 67, they excavated 2 feet underneath this side of the lighthouse and let it literally, the weight of it settle the lighthouse back to an even position. Some other fun facts is in 1969, when the neon hit right there above y'all's head, that's when the innkeeper house was actually walls. By the 90s, Ripley's, believe it or not, featured the lighthouse. It's the only lighthouse on a 4-lane highway. And mentioned it was built too close to shore. The lighthouse has never been moved. Things have just 2005, Katrina hit and made record water waves and tidal surge. And that's where the water was sitting during the storm. We lost a lot of our brick, and we lost the door and some glass panels up at the very top. As you can see, that just ripped the brick out of the base of the lighthouse. And in 2010, they started making restoration and completed it. It cost anywhere from $400,000 to $430,000, which is about $600,000 in today's money. So very happy restoration. Interior brick, interior brick door, etc. You all welcome to climb to the top. If you have any questions for me, just let me know. There's 57 steps, and then at the very top is an 8-rung ladder. Does anybody have any questions? No, good.
Go ahead.
Feel free to comment.
All right.
If you look out to the south, you may be able to see clear enough Ship Island, which is also known as Fort Massachusetts, which was a huge war during the Civil War.
This is only the second lighthouse I've ever been in. It's a counterclockwise. The other one is in Venice, Florida.
Venice where?
Venice, Florida.
Venice, Florida.
And they thought they had the only one around there. Well, obviously they don't.
A lot of them will have steps that are on the wall. It's not understanding where the staircase is going on the wall. Another layer.
We're going to use to next time.
It will get a little tight when you get to the top. We have 20 people that get about or halfway down the step. It's definitely meant for you. It's full nerve wracking.
Watch y'all's head. Whew. I don't know.
Here, let me go.
That's a tight fit.
Yeah.
I don't know if I can climb up there or not. Y'all want to go?